We are not merely distracted, we are divided. We are not merely overwhelmed, we are disoriented. And until we name what it means to become whole, we will continue mistaking noise for life. So here's the question: what does it actually mean to be centered in a chaotic world? Welcome to Centered, Becoming Whole in a Chaotic World. This is a podcast about orientation, integration, and the lifelong work of becoming whole. I am your host, Dr. Jeff Armstrong, a PhD exercise physiologist with a deep interest in the intersection of the physical and the spiritual. My guest is Dr. Robb Kelly, a world-renowned addiction expert, entrepreneur, and advocate for sustained recovery and optimal performance. Dr. Robb's journey from homelessness and addiction to becoming a trailblazer in the field of neuroscience coaching and recovery is nothing short of extraordinary. Known as the Gordon Ramsay of addiction treatment, his unconventional yet highly effective method boasts a 97% success rate. His expertise extends beyond addiction recovery, offering mentorship to aspiring entrepreneurs and fostering a culture of innovation and responsible risk-taking. Dr. Robb, welcome back to, now this is really the third podcast topic that you've been on. You were original guest on the We Have a Spiritual Problem podcast, which has become now this Centered podcast, and you were on my The Aging Well podcast. I'm really excited to have you back and just kind of dive a little bit deeper into your experience. And so let's just hit it hard from the start. What was the pivotal experience that forced you to reconsider how you were living?
I think from what I've been through, and most of you guys will remember me, I remember thinking, I'm done. I just can't live like this anymore. And of course, I had a spiritual awakening that pushed that forward. But done with the suffering, done with the pain, done with the remorse, the guilt, the shame. Oh, that rhymed, by the way. Yeah, but I was just done, man. And, you know, when it was my time to change. And that's how it went down. You know, there was no planning or anything. It happened in a matter of about 20 seconds to a minute or something like that. But so glad it did.
So when did you realize that success and flourishing might not be the same thing? Because you've experienced both from my point of view.
Yeah. The success part, I still can't see. You know, I can't see it. I mean, I'm still waiting to be successful despite being successful. But flourishing is kind of a personal journey for me. I can see that on a daily basis. The more I work on myself, the more I see the end results and the signs that I'm a better person today, that I help a lot more people than I do. And that the biggest thing I've learned is it's not about me. Flourishing is not only about me, but it's only about giving it back to other people and letting other people flourish as well, like I have. I think I'm one of very few people that I don't want you to do as good as me. I want you to do better than me. I want you to succeed and flourish better than me. So all my guys I've worked with, which is around 11,000 now over the 30 years, I think, it's very important that you move on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, that you find your true identity. And once you find your true identity, in the nicest possible way, you become a very dangerous person. Because most people don't. Most people's identity is in the work or the marriage or what they do. And, you know, if you're working for a company for 30 years and they let you go all of a sudden, your identity was that job, that position. And when you take that away from somebody after you've been programmed for 30 years, you're not going to flourish. You need to find your identity, find why you were put on this earth, and then don't have no regrets and walk forward no matter what. And you will flourish. But I thought it was money, Jeff. You know what? I always thought it was money. If I could have money, if I could earn like $100,000 in 1 year from 20,000, I mean, that would have flourished. It'd be amazing. Nope. Well, if I could just earn $500,000, no. $1 million, no. 5 million, no. So them two are so huge and far apart, dynamic-wise. Is if you think flourishing is monetary success, then I've got a really bad news for you guys, because I remember driving to work once in the latest Porsche, going to Highland Park, very affluent area, to an half office block in a medical building with loads of staff, and I was the most miserable person driving there. And it suddenly hit me, no matter how much money or toys that you surround yourself with, you're stuck. And I'm stuck in this mindset that I am not good enough and I don't belong.
And you work with a lot of people who we would describe as fragmented. And one of the themes of this podcast is fragmentation. So where do you see people becoming most divided or disoriented today?
Explain a bit more.
So when you look at the people that you work with, that you work with addiction, we would certainly define those people as being fragmented, just kind of disconnected from themselves, really disoriented in terms of where life is to be. You have people who are highly successful, but also struggling very much and very unsuccessful when it comes to life. And so where do you see this happening in people's lives, this division from, or being divided kind of from self to self-orientation or self-purpose?
I think a lot of it today has got to do with media. It's got to do with the access of media. Most people that come to me are broken inside. But a lot of people that come to me, probably 90%, are big movie stars and big musicians and household names. And, the persona that's seen on screen or on stage nowhere matches the brokenness inside of that person. So until you can fix that fragmented part of yourself, you're not going to live to your true potential. So you're going to wrapped in the movie thing or wrapped in the music and the drugs and that way of lifetime. And there's been a few people that I've worked with that's just stepped away from Hollywood, because they don't want that part of life. Now they've put everything together internally, not only physically, but psychologically, and they want to step away. So I think the perfect human being is knowing the difference, to stop and pull away, because there are broken people everywhere you look, but you will never know. Well, I do, because I if I see a man or a woman on their own at the bus stop, I'll sit down quietly next to him and I'll say this: my name is Dr. Robb. So it's not a random question, and it's kind of research. What are you going through that nobody knows about? And there is not one lady that hasn't started crying when I ask that question. So if you're in a fight, if you're in an argument, if someone hasn't gone your way, they're going through their own stuff because they're so broken inside, they don't even realize it. And you get stuck in a pattern of, well, it's never going to happen to me. So, there's no point in doing anything at all in the world, and everything's negative. When the subconscious brain runs the show, everything's negative and you'll never achieve anything, and you'll always be broken.
So one of the things that we really strive to talk about on this podcast and even the other podcasts is what my friend has labeled as the SPIES model, the spiritual, physical, intellectual, emotional, and social dimensions of our well-being. So kind of working through those, what are some spiritual practices that have been most formative in your life?
I think first of all is finding out what your spiritual beliefs are, whether that be a religion or a spiritual belief, is finding out that straight away if you can. It's part of the journey. And then I talk every day to God, okay? And people think I'm crazy. Who are you talking to? It's okay, nothing. But it's shown benefit that if you talk to a third person or not a third person, as the case may be, because nobody can see, touch, feel, or hear, it's better intellectually for you, and you will grow quicker. So my deal is, I first of all, I expect great things from God today. And by the way, I don't go to church, never read the Bible, don't do any of that stuff. I believe it. There's a God up there. He's looking after me. I've been chosen to do the work I do. And obviously, millions and billions of other people do what they do. and I'm on the right track. And it's been proven time and time and time with near deaths, dying on the table. They brought me back, having cancer. The cancer disappeared. I mean, there's just so many things that you can't deny in my life and my journey. But it's definitely paramount, without a doubt. So I talk. I don't like the word pray for me. It's kind of talking and listening. Talking every day, and meditation or yoga to listen. And it really works well for me.
And so you mentioned kind of yoga and, tying that into the spiritual, but that also ties to the physical. How does the body influence clarity, resilience, or spiritual life in your experience?
So they say that the mind is broken with mental wellness. We don't like to call it mental illness because you can 99.9% recover from that, which turns you into a well person. So mental wellness, the body will heal if the mind is right. But for me and the 11,000 people I've worked with, by being in that place of yoga, that meditation, that spiritual prayer, the body heals. So the body heals from the inside out. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Okay, medication does not fix or cure our problems. It masks it and it extends it. Have you ever been to the doctor, got a pill for an illness or disease? You've taken the pill, it's cured it, and you never take the pill again? The answer is no. So it's all internal. You can heal internally. When the mind, so the mind runs the brain, hence mind over matter. So when the mind can't touch it, feel it, it's energy. When my mind contacts with another energy, and my thought patterns and behavior change, my DNA changes. And that's the most important thing, because I'm not the same person as I was. So the big thing for me with the spiritual journey is the healing inside, to make sure that I'm peak performance. I'm 65. I still go on runs. I still get to the gym. I still, look a lot better than most 65-year-olds. God bless them. I go back home to England and see people in my class in the same old bars and the same old pubs, drinking the same old crap, talking the same old shit about the wives and the kids. It's like, I don't live that life today. So body will heal when the mind makes its mind up to and programs the brain. And then that spiritual path, I call it standing in the sunlight of the spirit. Once I'm stood in the sunlight and the spirit, all healing will be done. And everything that's coming to me, clear thought plans will happen. So then my dreams become my reality. And I expect great things every single day. And when you do that, you'll be aghast how much you change physically and psychologically.
So would you make the case that the mind also heals from the inside?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, the mind and the brain, especially prefrontal, is programmed on past behavior and what we've been taught, how to eat, how to act, how to dress, and the abuse that we go through, the torment, the teachers, the caregivers that mistreat us is all built and programmed in the subconscious brain. So when the prefrontal cortex asks for any kind of solution, because that's what its job is, it comes out of the subconscious, which is bad. So we can train the mind first thing in the morning to program the brain, and it's all through the software that we have, breathbox, somatic experience, NLP, brain spotting, all that stuff that we use to change the mind into positive away from negative and make it more energized. And again, it has to connect to another energy outside that you can't feel, touch, hear. It can't be a tree or a group or a pen. It's got to be something outside that you can't see, touch, or feel. But when it connects, that's when the mind change happens. And it's really important that it does. So if we can change the mind, we can change the brain, we can change the world, correct. Well, it's not that easy. It really is that easy. You can change the world today. If you change the way your mind works today, and we'll go over 3 things that we did last time that we can do every morning to enhance this. But when you do certain things in the morning and throughout the day, the mind has to change. It has to change direction because the basal ganglia is not repeating that old behavior. So the brain also can send signals to the mind and go, hey, I'm changing. And the mind goes, yeah, we're going to do this today. And all of a sudden you've changed. You're moving forward. So you have to have some kind of control over the mind, not mind control, but control over the mind first thing in the morning when we wake up, because the subconscious brain wakes us up. We need to get the conscious brain working and staying in during the day to make sure our day goes well. And again, repetition strengthens, confirms of any action or thought patterns. So the more we do this, the more solidified then thought patterns and mind power will achieve.
So what were those 3 things to do in the morning to kind of review those again for those who have heard you speak before, but also for someone who might be listening for the first time?
Yeah, so what a lot of people know is sleep is important. So I love these guys that come to me who are kind of successful and they go, what's your sleep pattern like? 4 hours. I can survive on 4. Yeah, you can survive on 4 hours a night, but come back to me in 10 years' time when you're 40 and you look 90. You can't carry on. This is not about going to bed and getting up early and getting to work. And it's not about that. It's about the body repairing. The body repairs on a normal circadian sleep pattern between the hours of 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning. The body is at its lowest, oxygen is at its lowest, and the repairs start. It's also when most people die of natural causes between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning because the defense is down. So when we wake up, the subconscious brain wakes us up because the subconscious brain loves hypoxic situations or with no oxygen or hardly any oxygen. So whether we like it or not, the subconscious brain wakes us up. And again, one of the reasons nobody's woke up laughing ever after sleep is because of lack of oxygen. We need oxygen to laugh and feel good. So what we need to do is get rid of the subconscious brain within the first 5 to 10 minutes that you're up and about. I do it straight out of bed. I sit on the bed and I do it. So we only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. So when you go to the gym or you're cycling or running, you feel great. Absolutely. It's not the weights that make you feel great. It's not the bike. It's this in between sets. So it's running also. We're getting the oxygen that we've never had and it floods the brain. So what we're going to do every morning to get results is sit on the end of the bed and do 20 exaggerated breaths in and out. Make that silly face and get as much oxygen as you can. And then again, like something like this. And really don't stop. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. For the 20, you'll go dizzy. That's why you don't stand up unless you hold on to something. So now the conscious brain is active. Go into the bed, go into the bathroom. One of the things we suffer from with human beings is when we stand in front of the mirror, we see all our blemishes. So stand 6 feet away from the mirror and let's program the subconscious by saying, I love you 10 times. Just say, when we get close to the mirror or we're shaving guys or putting makeup on and we do it, we can see all our blemishes. But when you stand 6 feet away from the mirror, all the blemishes disappear. It's an optical illusion. That's how people see us. Not close to the mirror as we do. So any blemishes hits our self-confidence. But when's the last time you went in work? Hey, Johnny, great to... We don't do that. It's always a distance away. So do that. And then let's change some neural pathways and patterns around. Real easy. If you brush your teeth with your right, do a left on the week, right for a week, left on the week and right. Do it for a month. And we're changing pathways up all the time. You can also do other things like drive to work differently or silly things like if you put your pants on first, put your shirt on first, maybe you wear a tie and then put your socks on, then put your pants on. Anything to take you out of that rigid routine, which a lot of them you don't know you're in. It's like if you've ever been, on an outing with the work, let's say. We used to go to the seaside every year, celebrate. You get down there, you jump up the seaside, you have a laugh, you have some beers, you have lunch, and when it's time to get on the bus, you get on the bus, which seat do you sit in? It's usually the one you travel there in. In actual fact, if somebody sat there, you may say, hey, that's my seat. That's a normal everyday pattern. We don't know that we're in. So can you imagine how many bad patterns we're in and we don't even realize it? Because everything's patterned in life. Everything's about math and patterns. If you can figure out the patterns that you're in and you can change by doing them 3 things every morning, your life will start to change. You see, I could go to the same job every single day for 10 years, but if my perspective on that job changes, even the drive, a different way to work is different. and I'm building neural pathways around that action. So the neural pathways around that action are now a little bit excited because I've never seen that shop on the corner. I've never looked at Jenny at work like that, or Billy. Once we start doing that, they will take over. So 300-ish neural pathways die every day in the brain, which are thought patterns, past thought patterns. What are you replacing them with? Are you replacing them with the same old patterns from childhood or last week, or, the same destructive patterns that you'll never be tall enough, thin enough, blonde enough, or rich enough? Because if you are, you will never, ever be disciplined. You'll never be as successful as you should be. And life goes on. Now, you can change this for tomorrow morning, guys, when you wake up. Look at life differently. If you want to be a millionaire, and I smile when people say that to me, because earning $1 million is not that hard these days, guys, but it's staying sane while you do it, of course. You've got to start thinking like a millionaire. When you walk to your 20-year-old car outside, you've got to start acting as if it's a brand new Bentley. When you go to work, walk, you eat, you sit, you talk like a millionaire, and if possible, start hanging around them guys, and you'll become a millionaire. If you hang around 9 millionaires, you become the 10th. If you hang around 9 no-goodies, you'll become the 10th. If you hang 9 depressed people, you become the 10th. So show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Show me who you hang around with, I'll show you your future. And when we start realizing them patterns that some people around us are not good for us. I mean, I as you know, I did a weight loss journey. I started about 18 months ago and lost 150 pounds. And a couple of weeks ago, I'm out and about with people, and a friend is kind of a friend in front of everybody else says, "Hey, Rob, I see you putting weight on." No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. He's gone. I won't associate with him anymore, because it's them little snidey messages that my mind takes and runs with that stuff. I remember doing a talk in California. They flew me over there, did a talk. There was 1,000 people there. We knew it was 1,000 because they had to click them in because of fire hazard. There were that many people. And the guy said to us, "Tell Dr. Rob that when he comes, he needs at least an hour, maybe 90 minutes after the talk, because everybody in that room will come up and shake his hand and thank you for coming all this way." So that's what we did. 999 people said it was amazing. Thank you. You're fantastic. I loved it. And one person said it was crap. I was too loud and too aggressive. Have a guess who I concentrated on for the next few hours or day. I can't remember how long it was. So I had to go back and do more trauma work on myself and more identity work on myself. So now when somebody comments badly on me, it doesn't bother me, because I got to the point that guys, people say this all the time, but they do. I don't care what you think about me. I'm 65 years old. I've done everything I want to do. I'm still helping thousands of people a week. You think I give a shit about what you comment about me? Because I've learned one thing, Jim. Anybody that's doing good as you or better will never negatively comment on what you're doing. Never.
So let's take it to the more conscious level of the brain function and talk in terms of kind of the intellectual, the learning piece of things. How do you go about cultivating intellectual depth in this distracted world? I mean, we see so many people that are spending the majority of their time on these devices, scrolling, and I have to admit, I do go on Instagram and watch some of your videos from time to time. And it's easy to become distracted from that which really builds our brains. So how do we go about cultivating more intellectual depth?
Well, you've got to boundaries, number one, okay, with other people and things around you like iPads and iPhones. I'm always reading. I think as myself. So I think of myself, rightly or wrongly, but rightly, as a genius. Because I've done so much in the addiction world. I've changed, I've wrote for Harvard, I've done all these great things around. And I have to stay away from negative people, but I'm teachable today. And I'm always learning new stuff. So all the videos, guys, if you go on and check out all my sites, all them videos and all that stuff, that I don't do that. I have a team that does all that. I've never watched a podcast. I've never seen myself on TV. I do not read my book. I do all of that. I'd just be teachable all the time. So I'm watching intellectual programs. We love Jeopardy and stuff like that. My wife's an intellect. She's reading. She does about 3 books a week. I struggle through 1 a month, but I'm getting there quicker. And just be careful who I listen to. I'm not going to listen to somebody who hasn't done what I've done. And you see this all the time. Like when you're building an empire and you're listening to a guy sat in his mum's bedroom, his 4th divorce has happened, his kids don't want to see him, he's overweight, he's got no prospects, and he's commenting on what I do. I don't think so. So you always have to be teachable, always learning new stuff all of the time. We had a thing in the office that we used to do in Dallas, that every day somebody had to look up a word that nobody, like de minimis was mine. And I started using de minimis all day. And their job was not only to use it once or twice with patients or friends, but then find out what it means. And again, always learning. But not the words like and, if, the words that when you see, you go, wow, I didn't know that meant that. So de minimis, for instance, is of no importance. So when you're around somebody talking and they're not saying the right thing, they're de minimis to me. They have no importance to me. So yeah, we always do that. It's so much fun.
I thought de minimis was one of the Transformers.
Oh, God, I love that. That was quick, that, Jeff.
I try. So you've kind of already talked a little bit about emotional reactivity, but how does that undermine otherwise intelligent people?
In what way? Just explain that a bit more.
Well, I mean, we take people that, and you work with a lot of people that I'm sure have advanced degrees, very bright individuals, very well educated, and yet they struggle with things that, their intellect should tell them, why are you bothering with that?
Yeah. A lot of it's second thinking, second doubting. We got a lot of intellectuals, of course, that we work with that don't know their self-worth. They're always questioning themselves, doubting themselves. And again, it goes back to brain patterns of what you want to be, how you want to be, and how you're going to go around it. Again, it's kind of like the inside don't match the outside kind of thing. So we mix with a lot of people that are famous, but not college famous. So they've either dropped out of high school, and the opposite. We find out that people that intellect struggle with what's on the outside and vice versa. Somebody on the outside might be the biggest movie star in the world, but inside they're crying like a little baby every night in the nicest possible way. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. So it's kind of finding that balance as well. Balance is so important in life. People ask me, what's a good addiction? And it's a tricky question because I go to the gym every day and I've lost 20 pounds. Brilliant. But I have to go every day. Brilliant. I love that. But I'm on vacation next week and I'm trying to look up the nearest gym. Not good. That becomes a bad addiction because it takes you away from the family or anything else that you're doing. So learn about your stuff. Stay emotionally available because a lot of people aren't emotionally available. And try and figure out, especially if you're in a high performance area and you're always doubting, figure out who you are. 100%.
So what does real community require?
Well, obviously balance and communication. We just started a community in San Antonio with Breathbox, and it's growing and growing and growing. So how do we know that groups are better than single ideas? So experiments done before, but we did it ourselves. We got 10 mice, probably 10 cages. And in the feeders, we put water in one and cocaine and water in the other. After the mice tasted the cocaine, they kept going back to that all day long. And they wouldn't touch the water, which we thought was, okay, we kind of thought that would happen. But when we scooped them all up and put them in the same cage, so now there's 10 mice, a community in the same cage, after about 20, 30 minutes, the mice stopped going to the cocaine. They went purely to the water. So community built not only communication, but also together intellectually we can feed off each other. So we don't need outside sources to make us feel full, because we're surrounded by people that love us and surrounding the people who tell us our worth, tell us how good, because that's the only way you know. Like, you can be the best in the world at anything, but if nobody tells you, then how do you know the best in the world at anything? So community is very important for all sorts of reasons, because on your own, you'll keep going back to the water and cocaine.
I love that. That is a brilliant story. So, what should sit at the center of a well-lived life?
I think spiritual first for me. Family life. If you estranged from your family, keep sending the girls or kids birthday cards, Christmas cards, and build that family back up again. But spiritual, family, balanced, love, playtime, outside with family, and create that unit. So me and my wife Janet, we're in the same house, we work together in the same offices, we go back, we hang around with each other at weekend, and people go, that must drive you crazy, hanging around with your wife all that much. And I say, why aren't you doing this? It's crazy that you're not feeling. So you go into a life that you can't hang around, and you go into the work or the bar with the guys is kind of a respite from the family married life. Is that what you're telling me? Because we never have bad days. Now, we're human beings, so we have better days than others, no doubt. But how can you have a bad day? You build your own marriage. You build your own life. I remember me and Jana getting married about 11 years ago. And 3 days into the marriage, we got into a silly argument about something. And I said, Jana, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this arguing stuff anymore, because I've done it twice before in marriages, and I'm not doing this. And she says, well, that's the way marriage is. And I said, says who? And saying that 2 words changed our life. It's like, well, I don't know. Well, why don't we build our own marriage? Why don't we dance in the bathroom every morning, throw stuff at each other, scare each other, all this stuff, and just have a fun as if it was some kind of game. And that's what we do. Hang around the people that bring you pleasure, who compliment you, and vice versa, and lift you up. Hang around the guys that have your back in a room where you're not in. Them kind of people, because family is the most important thing you'll ever have. Me and my daughter, as you know, Jeff, was estranged for 30 years. Same again with me and my sister. It was 15 years or something. And I came over here on my own. And when I got married to Janet, there was nobody on my side of the church. Everybody was on her side. She had all the family there. I didn't think anything of it until 2 things happened. One, my daughter got in contact with me, probably 5, 6 years ago now, and introduced my 3-month-old granddaughter, who's now 6, 7, 8. And I felt part of. But when my sister moved over here to run my restaurant, the British restaurant that we opened, all of a sudden I was happier. I was just calmer. And my wife said, you know something? You've changed since your sister came over here. Because the family abandonment was big with me. Now I have somebody here. Now I have my sister here. It's like it's all been healed. So any tips that you're having, or, well, I haven't spoken to Mom for 10 years, please, guys, try to. Because I'll tell you one thing for sure, when they pass away, God forbid, there'll be a big hole there, and then the regrets will start coming. No matter what the situation is, if you change, other people will change.
So you mentioned kind of varying up your habits and your rituals and things like that, but are there rhythms that you do use to kind of keep you from being scattered?
Yeah, so I don't get my day until 6 o'clock the night before. So I don't worry about tomorrow. I'm not interested in tomorrow. And 6 p.m. tonight, my assistant will send my day. So she'll send, here's your day, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I keep in that format so I don't worry about tomorrow. I make sure that that happens. And I write 5 things every day in the morning that I'm going to complete that day. Now, I might complete 1,000 things, but I have to complete them 5, which keeps me into a pattern of the happy, joyous, and free thing, you know? But the effort has to be put in. Even though from the outside I look like, you know, having a great time and I don't worry about anything. The reason why I do is because everything's patterned and planned out for me. I know with my brain that when it's scattered, when it's running around, when it's trying to do too many things to please other people, that's when my disease strikes, and it strikes hard. So today, for instance, Courtney, my media director who does all my podcasts, she calls me up this morning and said, "Hey, you've got 3:00 podcast. This guy wants you on. He's amazing." And I said, "No." He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's not on my list, Courtney." And she's done this several times, so she kind of starting to understand. But my guys here in the offices do. It's not on my list. It won't get done till tomorrow. Put it on my list tonight, and I'll do it tomorrow. And then boundaries, yes or no, is a full enough answer. People don't understand that. They go, this was me years ago. "Hey, Rob, do you want to come out tonight, this birthday party?" "No, I can't go, but because you're my sister's uncle's auntie's dog." "Well, no, thank you." The biggest word for people in my position is thank you and no or yes. But we don't have to. I've got nothing to prove to anybody or anything today. I really haven't. And it just puts you in this place of life is worth living. I'm going to expect great things. What's going to happen today? Like last night, you and I know each other, Jeff. Elliot come, Jeff Armstrong. Oh, I was like, "Oh my God, Jeff, yeah. Oh my God." So I kind of had a pep in my step this morning, knowing quite well at 11 o'clock I'm on your podcast. But I couldn't have had it yesterday because it would have played with my head for today, if that makes sense. So I don't overload me. I'm pretty rigid. Now, on the way here, my brand new car has got a flat tire, and it'll run for several miles without checking it. Now I've got to take it to the place a mile away to get it done. That wasn't expected, but I can work around that because I don't have any choice. But I'll still make sure that the other 5 things that I wrote down gets done.
So this probably never happens to you, I'm sure, but are there warning signs that tell you when you're becoming fragmented?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? So there's 4 chemicals that need to happen every day for you to be happy, or for you to be happy. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, which most people know. What people don't know is the main neurotransmitters from them is dopamine. Sorry. Dopamine and serotonin are created in the gut. So is my gut feeling right about something? And the answer is always. So it's not a myth. I've got feeling. If you're in a place anywhere that you don't feel unsafe, get out. If you're in a place, anybody or with somebody, that gut feeling, get out. I have a gut feeling that I might buy it. It's always right. It goes back to the tribal days where, when the tribes were out and one of them would get this gut feeling, there was danger near, move or get ready to fight, either way. But it's still with us. And that's my first sign through somatic experience. I've learned to listen and feel parts of my body that change, probably 10, 15 seconds before the brain realizes that I need to change. So I watch for that feelings. It might be lower end, might be my arms, back, my gut, usually the gut. And I follow that dynamic and know that I need to pay attention or I need to chase something right now. And it's worked well for me for, I want to say 65 years, but obviously I don't remember the first 10 years. But yeah, it's always done me well. I try not to listen to other people as well. Like people, you probably get the same, Jeff. "Hey, Rob, have you listened to blah, blah on YouTube?" I go, "No." "Can I send you the details?" "No, I'm not going to watch it." "Yeah, but it's Bob." "And?" "Yeah, but he's saying this stuff like you." "Brilliant. Thank you. But I ain't going to listen to anybody else." Why would I listen to somebody talking about stuff I did 10 years ago, first of all? And secondly, I'm not going to be influenced by anybody else. I'm on this spiritual journey, and what God wants me to know, I know. What he doesn't want me to know, not yet anyway, I don't know. And I'm sick of watching these podcasters and come to our conference. We're going to teach you how to become a millionaire. And 12 years on, nobody's a millionaire, and they keep going back. I'm like, what the hell is that about? Because if he's telling me I'm going to become a millionaire and I go and I pay my $500 and I don't become a millionaire, I want my money back. Not people just carry on just doing the same old thing and expecting that different result.
If you want to be a millionaire, you just get people to pay you $500 to tell them how they're going to become a millionaire.
Thank you. Like, oh, well, this was only $20 to go to. I remember this guy, he's well known. It's like $25. It's been slashed to $25. Most people in there bought their coaching courses while they're there, bought their books and while they're there. It's like, yeah, it didn't cost you $25, buddy. There's a reason why it's only $25. It's crazy.
So do you believe human life is moving towards something? And if so, what?
Oh, Jeffrey, what a question. So personal beliefs is yes, I think it's moving towards something. And I think that as we improve and give back and be of service to other people, that when I get to heaven, because I believe there's a heaven, I don't think it's a Bible heaven, but I know when I stand in front of God, I know what he's not going to ask me. How much was that car you just bought? How much was that house you used to live in? Oh my God, then watches, then Rolex. How much was, not going to ask me that. It's going to ask me one thing. How many people did you save? How many people did you save? Or how many people did you pass towards me? Or how many? That's my vision of where life's going for me. And being happy every day, you can change another person. So we're talking about hanging around groups. 9 people, we wanted to find out if 9 people could change one person in minutes. Because we know it's hard for one to change 9 if you don't give them like 30, 40, 50 minutes of talking or being in presence. But can 9 change one? So the person you hang around with is the person you'll become. So we set 9 actors up as patients in our waiting room, and we brought a real patient and we said we'd give them a breath box session free. So she was excited. So when all 10 was sat, the actors knew that she wasn't in on this. But the idea was you get $100, you come in, you get a cup of coffee, sit down. Every 45 seconds or so, a buzzer will sound. You stand up for 2 seconds and sit down again. Are we all good? We're all good. Everyone said, first buzzer. All 9 people stood up. This girl's on her phone, glanced up, glanced down again. Everyone sits down. 45 seconds later, everyone stood up again. Now she puts her phone down and she's kind of looking around, and then they sit down again on the 3rd buzzer. So we are 3 minutes in. Mm-hmm. She stood up with everybody and she sat down. So that's the mirroring part of the brain picking that up, which we thought would happen. But what happened next kind of amazed us. As we call the actors in one by one, as if they were patients, and they left out the back door, she was the only one left. She stood up. So we've just changed a human being who can think for herself, who's highly educated, has a great job, a great family, in 3 freaking minutes. So you have to be careful of who you hang around. You have to be. So changing 9, can 9 people change 1? Yes. Can 1 people change 9? Depends on the situation.
I think one of the most impactful things I learned from you in one of our early conversations was that I can change a life in 2 words. Nice sneakers.
Oh, yes. Yeah, for those people that missed that, you can change your life in 2 words. Because we always get people like, well, I can't change the world. I can't change anybody. It's like, well, stop. Follow this exercise. And what it is, guys, is next time you've built up area of people, look for somebody walking towards you with nice sneakers. And as they come, as you're just about to pass them, just say, nice sneakers. He'll probably go, oh, thank you, man. Turn around and watch him walk away. He's going to look down at his sneakers at least 2 or 3 times. You've just changed his world. But guess what? When he goes home to his wife or girlfriend, because he's in a good mood, mirroring part of the brain, now she's in a good mood, then the mother-in-law calls and you get the gist. You've just changed 3 lives without even knowing it. So if you did this, compliment 3 people every day, be nice, be happy, talk to the girl behind the restaurant counter that looks miserable because she hates this job and she's just trying to get through college. But you can change people. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. Get people excited every day about life. You know, well, I've got a dead-end job. Well, let's change that. People stay in jobs way too long. People stay in marriages and relationships way too long. It's better to change. Well, it's not that easy. It really is that easy. Stop saying that. You know, if you think it's easy, it is. If you think it's not easy, it's not. And the choice is yours. You get to make your mind up of what kind of decision you want to make and make it happen. And most people live in that comfort zone. I'm not going for that job. If I don't get it, my mates will laugh at me. Who gives a shit, guys? Who cares? Nobody cares. Because I'd hate anybody to get to the age of 70 or 80, look back on their life and realize two things. There was nobody watching you, and you really could have done anything you wanted to do. And you have to know that today, not in 30 years' time. Realize how great you are today. Realize the great things you do in life. Forget the negative and bad stuff. Forget that now. Concentrate on good stuff. One of the reasons I will never retire is getting up every day knowing I'm going to change your life, or knowing I'm going to save a life, or knowing I'm going to say something to that guy who's just about to commit suicide, and because I say something, he changes his mind. There's a great story I tell when I'm out conferences. A young kid walks to the Golden Gate Bridge, throws himself off, kills himself. The police fish him out the water. He got his license, his ID, so now they're back to the apartment looking for next of kin. When they get there, they found a note on the kitchen table, and it read, "I'm going to walk to the Golden Gate Bridge," which was an hour's walk, by the way. "I'm going to just stand on and jump myself off, and I'm going to die. Unless," in capital letters it says, "somebody says hello, somebody smiles at me on the way, somebody says good morning or winks or nods at me. If that's the case, I'll stop right there, I'll turn around, and I'm going to try again." The question I ask myself every single day is, how many people have I walked past today that's heading to the Golden Gate Bridge? How many? With a smile, a nod, hello. I'm the annoying guy on the elevator that gets everybody talking. At first they hate me. They're all looking in 9 different directions away from me, but I drag them all in to laugh and joke. How many people have you passed today, guys, walking to the Golden Gate Bridge? Because everybody is going through something, for sure.
So I like to end this conversation with the same question that I ask all my guests. If someone listening right now feels scattered or fragmented, and you've partially answered this already, and we know most people are probably feeling scattered and fragmented right now, what is one step they could take this week to begin becoming more centered?
Start dialogue with somebody, guys. And if it's dialogue, start talking to somebody that you trust. Okay, it really does make a huge difference when you voice that ailment, or you voice that, scattered, and voice it with somebody 9 out of 10 times, a best friend, a family member. And what they'll say back to you in that conversation will change the way you think. It's when we keep it to ourselves. It's when we romance the idea of I'm like this, then it happens more. But we need to get out of our comfort zone, get out of ourselves, and trust one other person and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. What's your thoughts on that? And it's amazing what will come back at you, because we just keep it down. We keep all this stuff down inside of us, and one day it blows. All the trauma and everything comes back. There's a great thing that we watched, a documentary once, and it showed a deer getting hit by a car. But it didn't die. The car didn't kill it. And after about 3 seconds of being still, the deer jumped up. And what it did next was astonishing. It shook violently for 2 or 3 seconds, and then it ran off. That deer just shook off all the trauma pertaining to what just happened to it. So the next day at the right time with the next car, he could probably get hit again. The trauma's gone around that. Human beings don't do that. So we need to start shaking that stuff off. And it starts with close friends, a trusted friend. If you haven't got any trusted friends in that position, get yourself to church, drive 20 miles outside town, find yourself a pastor or a vicar or whatever, go in and tell him. You don't even know, you can tell him anything and come out, and you'll feel a lot better. The thing to change is wanting to change and getting out the old mindset. It's 100% possible, guys. We have a 98% success rate with what we do. Stop letting the doctors tell you to take this pill and everything will be okay. It's not. The body heals from the inside out. It does not heal from outside in. Because if you've ever gone to the doctors with an ailment or disease and it's given you a pill, you've taken the pill for a period of time, it's cured the disease, and you never have to take the pill ever again? No one's ever done that. It's all prolongs, it masks illnesses from the inside out. So if the inside is fragmented and worthless and scattered, and you're never going to do this. But now, when you listen to this podcast, this is a call for you. This is, hey, this is the time to change. So go change, guys.
And I have nothing to add to that. So we will wrap for today and just thank you for being on this podcast. Look at those guns. I really appreciate you coming on. You're always a joy to talk to. And I think our listeners just really need to engage with you more and just hear the positive things you have to say. Because I always come away from these conversations uplifted. And so thank you, Robb.
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Great to see you guys.